What's up, traders? Andrew O'Connell here with Pristine Capital. Welcome to your market recap video. It is July 15th of 2022. We just had an options expiration and we did indeed make it out alive. Let's dive into these markets without further ado. Box scores, we had the S&P 500 finishing up 1.91%. Who would have thought? All the perma bears thought that the CPI coming in hot would derail the markets. The PPI coming in hot, Chinese GDP growth coming in light, Manchin potentially blocking the Biden green energy bill and stimulus spending. But throughout all of that madness, the markets are still resolving to the upside. The Nasdaq was up 1.81%. Small caps were a leader, up 2.08%. Early in the session, they were wobbly, and they really came back. Our dogs of the Dow were also up over 2%. And our ARK Innovation ETF was the big leader for today, up 2.34%. All of these indices closed towards the tippy top end of their day's range. And check this out, we did indeed have a volatility crush across the board. Breadth was very solid. We had 86% advancers in the small caps and 89.7% up volume. That is fantastic. And my trend model right from the open flipped from negative all the way to a +3. Finviz heat map, we had some strength across the board. UNH actually reported earnings, and take a look here, UNH up 5.44%. What I noticed as well was their earnings beat, in my opinion, was not even that impressive. They beat by a couple cents on the earnings, negligible amounts on sales. It was nothing special. But I think it just goes to show in this marketplace, remember, we're going to talk more about this in our weekend market analysis video, but there are plenty of players that have no exposure. So that said, there's players that they need to add back positions. And when they see some of these companies, hey, I already got blown out of a bunch of longs, nobody's in here. And, okay, this company reports earnings, they beat on their sales and earnings. You need to add exposure. I mean, why not? And healthcare is one of those like evergreen sectors where, we have an aging population. No one wants to die, of course. So there's always a will and a way to innovate within that space. So yeah, these healthcare names and biotech have been very, very strong. We'll go through some of those charts as we venture on throughout this video. Sectors. Take a look. Our leaders, ARK Genomics, Biotech, the ARK Innovation ETF. Now, the headline indices like the S&P 500, it's been wobbly over the past month. It's been going up and down, and we've really just been trending sideways. If you've been watching just the headline index, you're likely saying, man, this market's directionless. What's going on? Are we going up or down? But all the while, we've had leading stocks that are moving to the upside, and that has really been the key tell. So it's very important to have some sort of framework for finding these high relative strength sectors, within those sectors finding the high relative strength stocks and positioning in those stocks. That is really the crux of what we do at Pristine Capital. So if you're interested in that kind of trading style, feel free to visit pristinecapital.net. Take a look here. Medical devices up 2.29%. Fintech was up big. We had financials up big as well. We did have some weak sectors though. Take a look. Our cannabis names actually pulled back. This has been a very, we'll call it a not reliable group, to say the least. We did get some movements of potential rumblings on the Cannabis Safe Banking Act being passed. But yeah, that did pull back nonetheless. KWeb, these Chinese internet names, the first headline that I saw this morning as I was doing my daily work was that Chinese GDP growth came in under expectations. A lot of those names really fell out of bed today, but a lot of them ended up recovering by the end of the session, and I actually positioned in a Chinese stock, so stay tuned. Growth style factor was up 1.76%, was one of the leaders. Small cap value was up, and value as well. High beta was up 2.78%. So this is some very risk on action that we are seeing underneath the hood. Let's jump over to our S&P 500, and let's just take a quick inventory of where those headline indices are. So again, we have our trend model flipped to a +3. The trend index closed below a 1. The tick index closed positive. So we're looking pretty solid. And our S&P 500, remember, we've been talking about this for, now this point a couple weeks, that could we get a test of this 50-day simple moving average it does appear that it's in the cards because, hey, with those CPI prints coming out the way that they did and the market just taking them in stride like that and now closing above the 20-day simple moving average, I mean, what else could you hope for if you're bearish on the market? I really asked that question. It's kind of tough to ask for anything else. So yeah, I think we could be on a collision course with that 50-day moving average. And I think if we do get there, there's going to be a lot of players that go, oh shoot, I've been underexposed this market. I need to start adding a bit of exposure. Take a look here. This is our hourly chart for the S&P 500. And we're trading above this weekly point of control. We're going to have a new weekly value area beginning Monday. It looks like we're going to be trading right at the top end of that new value area. Let's check out our Nasdaq. Nasdaq has been a relative outperformer, and another big tell is that the Nasdaq never managed to close below the 20-day simple moving average, even as the market had this multi-day pullback. Nasdaq again approaching that 50-day simple moving average. At this point, it does look highly likely that the Nasdaq is going to, at the very least, tag that level. Russell 2000, same deal. We're trading above some of these short-term key moving averages. Next up is that blue 50-day SMA. And then our dogs of the Dow Jones. Same exact deal. We're stuck inside value. We got the 50-day above us. Now take a look. We have a lot of leading stocks, and one thing that I do want to touch on for all Pristine Capital members, the goal of the trading group is, this is where professional traders and aspiring professional traders can collaborate, share their work, share their analysis, all of that good stuff. Now, originally when we started the group, a lot of these analysis channels were just for me to post in. But as we have, more members that are very strong traders and investors, and more people coming up the learning curve, hopefully as we go, I thought it made sense to open that up, because I really think anything anyone else can do, I can do. And anything that I can do, you guys can do. So based on that logic, it made sense. Let's open up this charts channel. Why should I be the only one that's posting setups in here? You guys have some fantastic setups that you're trading as well. So yeah, we opened this up. So now I think what I'm going to do is, as new people enter the group, I likely won't allow them to post in here right away. I think that's likely going to be something where if you prove your competency in technical analysis, relative strength analysis, so on and so forth, then you can post in here. But everyone that's currently in there, I feel super good about. So yeah, really the goal is for all of our members, we want, a nice curated list of really the best opportunities in the market. That's really the goal. This trading group, this is really a performance hub. That's the primary goal. We all want to strive to have better performance in the markets and really just get better and improve. That's the primary goal. So definitely, if you still like just posting your charts in the trading room chat, feel free to do that as well. No pressure on you or anything like that, but feel free. Now you can also post your setups in that charts channel. And let's take a look through some of these setups. So some names that I've been posting, some other members have been posting. We'll actually take a look at the trade that I did take today. So let's start there. So common stock trades, I did not do anything on that front. In terms of options trades, I did make a substitution trade. So I closed out my D-low 25 strike calls expiring in December, closed those out for a scratch. I paid $5.20 for those, closed them out for $5.20. For whatever reason, the name's just not really showing relative strength, but I added these call options in Li Auto. And check out this chart. This thing is just a runaway freight train. Li Auto, this stock has doubled off the lows, or pretty close to it. So check it out. On the lows, this one was trading at $18.90. Yep, and the stock has indeed doubled over the course of about a month and a half to 2 months. Now look, all we're doing, remember this stock doubled. I put it on 100% return. There's definitely players that were buying here that they're sitting on a hundo winner. So to me, it makes sense. Some of those early adopters and early players in this stock, I'm sure they're taking profits as other players are entering the stock. And now this thing pulled back to the 20-day simple moving average. Now you juxtapose this against the K-Web. Take a look at this. K-Web is nowhere near the highs. look at K-Web. This thing is still, way off the highs, and Li Auto is doing something a bit different. So I did take a position in that name. And another thing that I am doing now is on my daily position log, I'm tracking the average relative strength score of all the stocks that are in my portfolio. So I always put out my end of day position log. Now that I'm tracking that, it's actually making me realize, hey, I could be better at entering more names that have high relative strength. So that's something I want to work on, and I have a feeling it's going to improve my results as I really work on that. Sometimes it seems too easy, right? Like entering the stock that's showing the most relative strength at a rational buy point. How could it be that easy? I need to enter the stock that's pulling back big, that no one's in order to win in the stock market. And that's really not the case. Let's look at some of these other names that are just looking pretty fantastic. We have Suave. This is another name that I believe some of our members are trading in Suave, another name with really nice relative strength. Let's look at some others. We had Li Auto, we had Suave. This one, it showed up on my scans today, this RPRX. Another name moving out above value, looking very solid. Take a look here as well. In addition to RPRX, let's talk about these, the solar stocks. These really got crushed, and I'm invested in Enphase right now. I have some August call options. Enphase, when there was that news headline about Manchin potentially blocking Biden, this name just got absolutely walloped. Look at this. It went down all the way to 174 and change, and it ended the day up at the 20-day simple moving average. So that was just like a Hail Mary candle. I did not get shaken out of my position, which I'm like, knock on wood, super happy about. Same thing with DQ as well. DQ, not as good of a finish, but pretty darn close. Look at this thing. We somehow managed to close above the monthly point of control. That was a Hail Mary. That was definitely a miracle. So, hey, we'll take it. But yeah, these high relative strength names, these are really where I want to be trafficking in for the most part. PRVA, which I am currently long. This is one of my core positions. This one just continues to move to the upside. So this really was your tell that there's pressure to the upside in the market because these leading stocks, they're moving to the upside. As always, for this weekend, I'm going to be sending out all Pristine Capital members our weekend market analysis video where we do a top-down look at the markets. We look at the fixed income landscape, what the Fed is doing, and we really just get a high-level look. And then I'm also going to be sending out our weekend watch list video. And in that video, we're taking a look at the MarketSmith charts. And this is a software that I recently invested in. I added a subscription to this thing. This thing is just fantastic. And it shows you, in addition to the chart, it'll show you some key pivots. It'll show you the earnings growth. It'll show you the sales growth as well. It's really just fantastic software. So what I do is I use this for the weekly charts. And on our weekend watch list, I put together a video. I share the weekly chart from MarketSmith just to show the overall structure and the earnings and sales data. And then also I share a trading view chart, and that's where I put the potential trigger level for the stock. I put the stop out point to invalidate the trade and the target as well. And I go through all of those in a video. Again, if you're interested, feel free, head over to our website at pristinecapital.net. With that being said though, it is Friday. Enjoy the weekend. Hope you guys all had an awesome trading week. For everyone watching these videos, you guys are absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Feel free, go ahead, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. You guys are awesome. Have a great weekend.